The best things in life are cheap. Let's make a sandwich and nosh with me. Come on, it's easy. Hello, Nashlets, and welcome to today's edition of Noshing with Nashies, where we are going to make Nashies refrigerator sandwich. That's right, it's things from the refrigerator turned into a fancy style sandwich. It's a lot less expensive than heading out to a restaurant to grab something, and you can do it in the comfort of your own home. So come on, let's head into my kitchen and see how I made it. All right, Nashlets, let's go ahead and see what we're going to need for this fancy Nashies refrigerator sandwich. And remember, everything here is just a suggestion. Use whatever ingredients that you have around your house. This is all about taking stuff we have and making something new with it, playing with textures, changing it. This is a fun one. So here I have some Black Forest ham, Kirkland, Costco, of course, Columbus. We've got some turkey breast and a nice loaf of French bread. Use whatever kind that you have. And then hiding over here, I've got some fresh mozzarella cheese. Use whatever cheese you got, it's fine. We've got some basil. We've got some mayonnaise. Duke's is the best. We've got some pesto. You'll remember that from a couple of recipes I've done recently. Got some little tiny tomatoes, some rice wine vinegar, some pickled onions, and some pepperoncini. And you can use just regular pickles, regular onions, whatever you want. We've got some Dijon, we've got some black pepper, and then we have some lettuce if you would like some. So let's get to chopping and make this fancy refrigerator sandwich. All right, Nashlets, on my stove over medium heat, which is 5 on my stove. It goes from 1 to 10. I have heated up about a tablespoon of avocado oil. We are going to come in with about 4 cups of lunch meat here, of all things. Now, the reason why we are doing this is we're taking something inexpensive and easily accessible, and we're going to change the flavor profile and the texture of it by cooking it in this pan just until everything crisps up a little bit, makes it taste fancy. Now this is a great way of taking something, again, inexpensive and elevating it to a different level. You can use whatever kinds of meats that you have. You can use prosciuttos, or you can use the really inexpensive Hillshire Farms or things like that. It's perfectly fine, but just crisping it up in a little bit of oil changes that flavor, just like melting cheese versus unmelted cheese, cold cheese. Bread, if it's toasted versus not toasted, it changes the flavor, and that is what we are going to do here, and it will also give our sandwich lots of fun textures. So I am just going to cook this up, and then I'm going to drain it off and refrigerate it for a bit. All right, Nashlets, we have cooked up our meat. It has gotten rid of some of the moisture in the meat, which is good. It's a little bit on the crispy side. Fantastic. Changes the texture, changes the flavor. And I'll tell you a trick about this, too. If you have some meat like that, throw in some cubed potatoes, some bell pepper, some onions, a little bit of cheese if you want, and some eggs, and you got yourself a basic Baumfrühstück, which is a German farmer's breakfast. All right, I'm going to take this out of the pan, put it in the refrigerator until it gets cold, and we are going to assemble the other part of our salad while you can watch me chopping the veggies here now. All right, Nashlets, while our meat is cooling down, and again, you can do it with cold meat. It doesn't matter. That's perfectly fine. We're going to chop our veg, which you'll watch in fast motion. I just want to show you how I set up. I've got a big bowl over here that the whole kind of salad portion, we're going to call it a meat salad portion, part of our sandwich is going to go. I've got a little bowl of tomatoes. It's about a cup of tomatoes. We're going to do about a half a cup of pepperoncini or pepperoncini, depending on how you say that. And we're probably going to do about a half a cup of this pickled red onion that I love to keep around. And that's all we're going to be doing for the veg. So you can watch me cut this in fast motion. Of course, I will be putting it in the bowl. All right, Nashlets, you can see here the basis for the veg portion, and you can use any kind of veg that you want, fresh or, pickled, whatever it is. You can also throw the lettuce in here. That's perfectly fine, and mix it in. And to anybody who's going to say you can chop the tomatoes easier than that, I have arthritis, so I chop for safety, not for pizzazz. You can put the tomatoes in between like 2 lids and slice them like that. I don't have the ability to do that anymore with my hands being a little bit unstable. So remember, Everybody has different things. I used to be able to chop like a chef. I can't anymore. That's just how it works sometimes. But again, use any veggie you want. And we are just going to go ahead and let our meat finish chilling, and then we're going to come back and assemble this and then do some fun stuff with our bread. All right, Nashlets, let's get ready to assemble. I've got my veg there, and we're going to come in with our meat, which has nicely cooled down. And now we're kind of going to make our sauce to this. So we're going to come in with about a half a cup of mayonnaise or so. It's up to you. You can make this a vinegar salad. It does not matter. You can throw some sour cream in there. It's perfectly fine. This is all about using what you have in your kitchen to turn stuff into something new. Then we're going to come in with about, a quarter of a cup to a half a cup of pesto, because pesto is just good on everything. And this lends a lot of flavor to this salad, or this sandwich, I should say. This is kind of a salad sandwich. Then I'm going to come in with just a dollop of rice wine vinegar, which is sweet and sour, which perfectly accompanies those onions and that pepperoncini. Just about a tablespoon. And you can adjust as you go to your taste. And we are not putting the Dijon into this internal mixture. We want that on the bread because we want that Dijon to hit your palate at a different time than this does. That's another little trick. I'm going to put in some basil. To this kind of thing is to kind of layer things so they hit your palate at different times. It makes it taste different. So I'm doing about a tablespoon of basil and about a teaspoon of our black pepper, Kirkland again, because, we're Costco shoppers. This will keep in the fridge for about 3 days because it is a mayonnaise salad, but it does have in there some vinegar, and we don't want to overload our sauce here. But if you see that it looks dry, obviously add a little bit more. We do want our salad or our sandwich, internal sandwich mix-ins to stay together on our bread. So just mix this up really good. And then we're going to stick it in the refrigerator and let it chill out together for about an hour. And then we're going to toast up some bread with some cheese. And this turns our regular ingredients in the refrigerator into a super duper fancy sandwich, which is so much fun. Panera who, All right, so I'm just going to stick this in the refrigerator, and I'll see you in a bit to heat up our bread. All right, Nashlets, all I have done here is taken our baguette and I've cut it into some nice sandwich-sized pieces, cut it in half, and I've topped it on one side with some fresh mozzarella cheese. You can use any kind of bread that you want, any kind of cheese that you want, or omit the cheese. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to stick this in a 350-degree oven for about 10 minutes until the bread is nice and toasty and that cheese is nice and melty, and then we will make our sandwiches. All right, Nashlets, we have here our beautiful bowl of sandwich filling. We've got some nice toasty bread here with our cheese all melty. We're going to come in with some Dijon Mustard. You can use any kind you like. It's up to you. Like I said, I like to do this separately because it hits our palate in a different place when we go in and take a bite. But you can put literally the cheese, the mustard, everything into the sandwich filling if you want to. It is up to you what you want. Now we're going to come in and we're going to load this sandwich. I love all the different flavors and textures here. It just elevates regular ingredients to something really spectacular. That's why I call it the refrigerator sandwich. Nashies refrigerator sandwich. As little or as much as you like. I'm going to move my bowl here. Give me a second. Alright, so we can see that nicely. Let's make sure it is focused. Alright, going to come in with just a little bit of lettuce here. Just for that nice texture on the top. We're going to top it with, look at that. Look at that sandwich. Come on. That is a gorgeous sandwich. We're going to come in and we are just going to give it a cut in half. If you want to be fancy about it, wrap it in butcher paper. And it will be absolutely just like it's from Panera. And there we have our sandwich. All right, let me make this look fancy and set it up for our final shot here. All right, and there we have it, Nashlets. Nashies refrigerator sandwich made with stuff around the house for those times when you want a fancy sandwich, but you don't want to pay fancy sandwich prices. Just head into your fridge, shop your stash, change up the textures, and you will have something of beauty. Thank you so much for joining me for today's edition of Noshing with Nashies. And remember, if you come to a fork in the road, pick it up and have a nosh with Nashies. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Consider becoming a member and check out that recipe video on your screen. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!